All right, so this is our monthly chart for Bitcoin. You can see we had a double top here from where the you can think of this as a double top, or you can think of as RSI bearish divergence, whatever whatever analysis work for you, just use that. And if it works for you, use it. Otherwise, there are so many ways you can think of it. So whatever you want to use. This is our monthly chart. We had a double top, RSI bearish divergence, and it played out pretty nicely since we are still in the downtrend. So higher time frame trend is downtrend. The main point, the last bullish point was here. We had the green candle close here. So this was 25K, above 25K we went, and then we came down. So this is actually Bitcoin US index chart. So price numbers can be different on different exchanges. So just keep that in mind. Don't use exact numbers if you are looking for. All right, now let me just delete this. Okay, the last month which we had closed, this is the last month low. If you want to write it, you can label it as last month low. And this is your last month high. I'm going to label it as LMH. And now the new month has started. So these ranges usually work good. They get played. We didn't broke the last month low of, this was August, July. Then August was a downtrend and October was a downtrend. And many people are saying October. So they are hoping for an October. I actually gave a stupid analysis as well, like 3 red months pattern. After our 3 red months, you can see we get a green month. So 3 red months, we get a green month. 3 red months, we get a green month. So I used that, but for that we need another red month. So anything can happen. October or October, whatever you want to call it. So this is your last month high and last month low. Now, if we go to weekly, you can still see that we are in the downtrend, and the only green weekly we had was here. Actually, I want to mark this as well. So this was, this is actually like this. And this is your green week before the continuation of downtrend. And then we had the bear market rally. Many people were calling for 28K, 32K, it didn't happen. And we have another downtrend. Then we had 2 green weeks in which we went to 22,800 something. And then we came down. Again, we haven't broken this low as well. This is the lowest point, recent lowest point. We haven't broken that. So there is some liquidity down there as well. And this is your recent bear market top, 25,200 range. And now we can mark this week low and high, but we can already see that this week high has already been broken. So this is the last week low as well, which is still intact, which is 18,150. So so the expectation for now in the market is, I will talk about that later. Let me just check. All right, so now we have, you can see in weekly, we are still in the downtrend, and to make a higher high in weekly, we have to break this region of 25,200. A weekly closing above this will start to create a higher high in the terms of trend, which will be bullish. So now we have another lower high here as well. So break this lower high, we make a higher high when we go up here, and then I might think of 28K or 32K. This is how I play. I always play the range. I like that way because people have been calling for absurd numbers for like months now, and it hasn't happened. So this just came as stupid. If it doesn't happen, you just say we are going to 28K. It we will go 28K, and people will say that you see I was right. We'll go there, but eventually we need to play the range. People are calling for 15K and 13K, and now crazy numbers 10K as well. So break 16K, we'll think of 15K. Right now, the lowest point we had is 17,300, and break that, I will think of 16K and break that. Then we'll talk about the lower numbers. So this is a weekly
So yeah,
outlook.
adding.
Yes,
Sorry,
yes.
Jace. Oh, just adding to that. The two bullish kind of aspects of our analysis here are volume on exchanges is high, and secondly, we do have a bullish divergence appearing there on the RSI on higher time frames. The weekly chart and the daily chart there. So that's really the only two things that I'm
Pointing towards
seeing as
pointing towards the
as any
upside.
kind of bullishness coming into October.
Okay, those are very good points added by the Nathaniel. So our dear friend Nate added very two good points that you can see in the weekly chart. The volume has been increased rapidly, and I think this had the that this is Binance. We are using Binance right now, and this is because this is Binance Spot. So recently I saw a tweet. This is because like they have just zero trading fee for trading Bitcoin there. It can be because of that. It can be because of the huge accumulation going on. We never know, or huge sell-off going on. So there is increase in the Bitcoin, increase in the volume, and there is in bullish divergence in weekly. You can see we had this lower low, and then we made another lower low, and yet RSI is making lower highs. So this is bullish, but this is weekly, so it will play according to its time frame. Uh, very good points from the Nate. Let me just go back to that index chart again. So okay, this was the chart. This was the chart. I have removed the drawing. Sorry. Now if we go to daily, so the daily ranges, you can see last month high is 22,800. Last month low is 18,152. We are around this, and we are expecting a dump. So I would like, if we go down here, we grab some liquidity, and then I will look for a long. So the point where you want to go in, where you want to buy something, where you want to go long, there are different ways people do that. You can just start buying around 18,000 and 17,500 if it goes to there, and then wait for that to play. The other way is you wait for the trend reversal. It's a downtrend making lower highs, lower lows, lower high, lower lows. When it break this lower high, create a higher high, and do not create another lower low. This is your trend reversal if you're looking at the candles. And to look for the trend reversal, use 15 minutes, 30 minutes. If you're looking at the dump live, use 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 10 minutes. But according to play like that, if you are just want to buy, you don't want to see, if you're not good at analysis, just mark some point of interest, POIs, whatever you want to say, that where you want to buy. So 18,000 is a good point. 17,500, 18,000 and 17,500 range is good. Below that, you can look to buy around 17,000, 16,500. You can DCA around that. Again, there is a problem with DCA. If your average buy, there we always see a reversal, but what if the reversal is, let's say, just this, it doesn't go back to that high. So DCA point will bring your position down, but you might get to close it like around, if there is not a big reversal. People are expecting huge reversals. I am not talking about that. If there is a reversal and goes back above 20K, then you will be in profits with these DCA. Just be careful if you're using future trading. Do not get liquidated. There is no way you can turn that around. So don't go crazy. Use risk management, use proper position sizing. We have been talking about position sizing for a long now. So this is the only way you can survive these markets, and just survive the bear and you will have the big fruit you want in the bull market. If you won't be able to survive the bear, there will be no bull for you. If you get liquidated during this whole process, what's the point? Just have patience. If you're buying, buy on spot. Do not sell in loss, or do not get involved in stupid projects. Like someone if bought TRB around 14 spot, he's just holding the bag and just keep on waiting for the bull. So just be careful, just be sensible about your investments. This is just an example. I'm not against TRB or anything. Okay, I want 3.5K and Manchester United not lose. Okay, I want $1 million, but I won't get it tomorrow. So Manchester United will not get in the form tomorrow. So just wait. All right. All right. So this is the daily outlook. Look, I have drawn a trend line recently like that. So I use trend lines not for like, if it bounce here, I will go long. No, not like that. I wait for them to break down, and then this is like, for me, it's actually a case of trend reversal, and I use it like that. I will look for a short when it breaks, and this is actually daily, so you have to use it accordingly. If you're trading futures, use lower time frames. That is better way. If you're going to swing trade these market, it can be brutal, so have a stop loss. Just be careful with your risk management. Okay, these are our ranges. If I go in 4-hour charts, there's nothing much in 4-hour. You can see that we just created this top, then came down to this low, and we are just trading this range. So it's been a while. We are stuck in this. I'm just hoping you can see how there are like 10, 8, 10 candles just straight. So this is just draining. So just be careful. Weekly closing will always not will be volatile, always has some volatility. So that if you can trade that volatility, it's good to make some bucks, but just be careful. Okay, there are a few things I would like to add. So if I remove, let me just go back to this chart, a naked chart, and yeah, this has actually that trend line. So this is the trend line people are looking for so long, that this trend line has been in motion, and we got rejected here, we got rejected here. So in my opinion, in my belief, our trend line always gets broken. So when it gets broken, there is some volatility that you can trade. If I show you something, look, this was the original trend line which played this downtrend where we were coming down. So this is actually weekly chart. You can see tap down, and then it got broken, and it went to actually 48K region, and people actually again started talking about 100K and another all-time high, and whatever they got bullish again because of this trend line. And there was like this bear flag as well. People were looking for that. It has been broken on that upside. We are bullish, we are going up, whatever they were saying. So you can see after that we came down sliding as well. So just manage risk. Don't like go crazy that we are going for an all-time high. If it gets broken, don't go crazy on this. Some of the participants mic is on. Should they should just mute yourself. I can hear some. All right. So yeah. So don't go crazy over the trend line breakouts. We might see something, but don't think you are going to all-time high again just because of this trend line. It can be time taking, it can be draining. So just play the range. I always say that if you have invested $100 around this 19,000 or 18,000, if it goes to 25,000, take out your initial capital, let the profits run. If it goes up, good. If it doesn't, have a stop loss around 23K or where you get to some profits. Don't just stay holding that back. Don't just wait for your 69,000, $100,000. Just keep, just take out your initial capital so that you won't be losing anything. You just have some profits which can be increased or decreased. So there are different ways of risk managing. So just use that. Okay, so this is what we have been looking for doing this price action. So if you guys have any queries, you can ask me. Nate, what would you like to add more? Or anyone else wants to add
Um,
anything, they can just unmute you themselves.
yeah, I just think you know, I just think we manage our expectations in this market. You know, from the looks of the current trend, you know, we're just going to be finding these tight ranges and staying within them. You know, it wouldn't surprise me to just see the weekly chart just post another 3, 4, 5 dojis, you know, just kind of in a row, like where we just kind of keep bouncing up and down. And you know, we're kind of looking at a market now where we're just kind of focused on intraday kind of trading. You know, I've had a little frustration, like looking for swing positions and just not getting them. So you know, you know, it's kind of one of those things. You know, there are some altcoins that just, you know, are just kind of flying, you know, once in a while, and but very difficult to kind of analyze those, you know, and just kind of see kind of you know, what's going to move and what isn't. You know, it's just, it's always, you know, even that's a little frustrating too when you kind of jump on the, you know, you jump on the exchange the next day, you know, and you look at a coin that you were looking at the day before and it's gone up 20-30%, and you know, you have no reason why. You know, it
I
just
understand.
decided that there's a couple of whales just decided to pile on, you know. um so it's kind of yeah, so obviously there's a bit of frustration in the market in that respects. And like I said, I think we just manage our expectations.
Exactly,
You
exactly,
know, a 4 or 5% move is going to be a big move in the current market conditions. And I think it's just important to take profit when it's there. You know, I ran that trade from 19.1 to 20. You know,
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
20.3 Bitcoin, and
This one.
and you shorted the other side of it, and I let it run all the way down to my stop loss, and I was like, that was stupid. You know, I should have just killed it at the top. You know, but you know,
That's
I
life,
guess
no, yeah, exactly.
that was a lesson, just to say we are well and truly still in a bear market. And you know, any pumps, I think at this stage are going to have a pretty nice short opportunity on the other side of them, you know.
Exactly, exactly. So we got Rajat. Rajat, would you like to say something? I think you're mute, bro. Yeah.
No, bro.
Hi,
I'm
bro.
just I'm just waiting for this 20 Bitcoin to take 20K support and bounce.
So
I
you are waiting for the 20K. So why not go to 18K and then go long for
yeah.
20K?
That my bids are set. I've set up the bids at around 17.6. That's my point of view. And we are gonna my HTF target remains the same. It's like 26, 27,000. And let's see what happens.
So
And
you are targeting actually this liquidity, I guess. This
yes,
region.
yes.
So
And I think it will happen today or maybe tomorrow after the Fed meeting. There is a Fed meeting tomorrow, and anything can happen tomorrow. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not dive deep into it, but maybe some bad news from US
the
is coming
Fed.
tomorrow.
What's wrong with you, Nate? What's wrong with you guys? Why are you not letting us breathe?
Bro, Biden's asleep on his chair, man. I don't know what the hell's going on. Wake up, Joe. Wake up. Yeah.
I
I don't know, man. It's I think it's just, look, this has just been a long time coming. You know, the American economy's been running on empty. We've been, you know, printing money, borrowing money. It just hasn't
Yeah.
stopped. You know, we haven't been in a economic surplus from a government standpoint for forever. You know, and
If you
you can't just keep running it at a minus. You know, like it's really bad management. You know, printing money out of thin air will eventually, you know, rear its ugly head, and there will be consequences. And you know, the reserve has just, you know, made that decision at this point because inflation just kind of went unchecked. And um, you know, we're all feeling it here in the States. You know, I mean, I go out and spend $350 on groceries, and I get like 4 days worth of food, you know. I'm like, bro, I mean, I need a second job, a third job. I need a, you know, I know. It's just like, it's kind of crazy. I mean, this is, you know, I think a lot of the lower socioeconomic kind of status people here in the States are really starting to hurt. And then, you know, we kind of had a big property party where there was a lot of people, you know, refinancing their homes, taking a lot of equity out of their home value and stuff like that, and just, you know, buying $100,000 Ford trucks, and I mean, all those guys are just going to go underwater soon. You know, everyone's sort of just, you know, really feeling that pain. And you know, we've got home loans interest rates at 6.7% now. You know, by the next week or whatever, you know, Jerome said that they're going to be raising interest rates twice over the next 2 months before the end of the year. So we should be looking at like another 0.75 and then followed by another 0.5, I think. And so that'll put home loan interest rates at, you know, 8% plus, you know, which will just finally slow down the property market, and prices will come down. People won't be interested in buying because, you know, they don't want to be exposed to that kind of interest. And you know, we're just going to start to see a real you know, 2008 style kind of
recession.
yeah, you know,
Say
I
it,
mean,
man. Say it, man.
we're already
Let's
in it.
let's
We're
call the
already in it,
elephant in
but I
the
mean,
room.
just nobody wants to admit it. You know,
Yeah,
we're kind of,
exactly.
you know, it's just like, of course we're in a bloody recession, you know. So yeah, it's kind of but what kind of global impact that has is remains to be determined. You know, obviously the US dollar's the world currency. You know, it's been on its kind of parabolic kind of run as of late. But you know, we're seeing the Chinese government talking about offloading their, you know,
Dollars,
US
yeah.
dollar holdings in order to prop up the yen or the yuan. So I mean, and we probably saw that at the end of last week. I mean, after the Chinese president announced it, I mean, you know, we saw the dollar kind of pull back. So I believe they must have taken some action at that point to start propping up the Chinese dollar.
Mm,
And then kind of, you know, looking at that chart, I mean, the last
nah.
kind of big pullback we had there, we kind of had that kind of 3-4 stages. The weekly, you know, whenever we see a weekly red like that, you know, you sort of see a couple of weekly red candles to follow, but you know, at least one, you know, yeah. So maybe that's relief for crypto market for next week. You know, we might see the weekly opening sort of pump a little bit with the dollar, and then just sort of create that downward hammer kind of candle, typically that's, what we see is like the beginning of the week, market gets a little frothy, and then, we kind of see some selling towards the end of the week. So obviously that just, that chart has a big impact on what Bitcoin's going to do. And, I'd just, at this stage, I'd love to just see kind of 2-3 weeks of selling on the dollar, and people starting to put some money back into risk on assets, but just obviously everything that I said about the economy and the sentiment of the economy right now is making that pretty difficult. I don't think people are definitely afraid right now to be going risk on.
Exactly. I mean, you are saying that people are afraid to buy anything. People are just keeping their money. They don't want to get exposed to that level of interest rate. So
right,
it's difficult to expect them to buy Bitcoin right now. Maybe if they see, if the thing is like the pound is going down, euro is going down, they might start selling their currency to buy crypto. Like, let's talk about Bitcoin first. So they might start thinking that that is better haven. Like, I was going through some tweets there, like they were about some banks, the Dutch bank, whatever, German bank that was, it has a huge sell-off. I think that is that. I can't have it. Wow. Okay, I can't have that. So that had a huge sell-off. So it is like, if we talk about sentimentally, it is difficult, but might be the Europeans, the English people, they start buying Bitcoin. They might start think it's better to keep their money in Bitcoin instead of pound. But what if they start buying dollars? What if they think that dollar is better haven to keep their money? So it's a huge. Do you want to add something?
No.
No. So this is something which we think about. So there is psychological levels. Again, under 20K, Bitcoin is considered cheap. So there are some psychological levels. We actually saw Ethereum going to 3 digits, and many of us might have not bought because they might be thinking of 500. Like the last time, everyone was thinking about 25K, the 2021 summer dump. Everyone was waiting for 25K, 20K, and it went up from 28,800. So we might get that situation as well. So we have some probable options. We should be playing more probability, and we should be exposed to less risk. If you want to buy, if you have money, if you can hold for 3-4 years, then you might start buying and keep on DCAing. But if you think you can't do that, you should be exposed to less risk. Again, I always endorse Bitcoin and Ethereum, not other altcoins much, because they go down very quickly when these two lose support. So just be careful with your investment. There are some good altcoins. Just look in those projects. I'm not good in tokenomics or FA, so it's just my bad. It's just my disadvantage, I guess. So there are some people who are very good at identifying good projects. So follow them on Twitter, find them, their charts, whatever they are doing, look for those options, but still just expose yourself to small risk. And I would like to stop recording now.